Where is my Cambodian boyfriend? Many of you watched an episode recently where I went on my date, a first date with a Cambodian, a 21-year-old. He was hot as hell. So why have you not heard about him again? Why have you not seen him again? Well, I didn't go on a second date. Let me tell you why. I had every intention of meeting him again. When the night finished, I felt an excitement. And I felt, yeah, I'm definitely going to see him again. But I could already sense, I know myself. I'm 41 years old. I've got a 20-year dating history. I can see patterns and I know myself. And I know what my shadows are. I know what my intentions are. And I could feel a part of me that was kidding myself, the love addict, the fantasist, that was telling myself, like, yeah, I really like this guy, he's quite intelligent, he'll be able to stimulate me. But then I started just thinking about it practically, and I just don't know how a relationship works. I don't know how a relationship works between two different cultures unless you're desperate, unless you're just so broken and so lonely and so desperate for salvation in another that you will essentially just make your life worse so you're not lonely, have to put up with another that doesn't really fit, that comes from a completely different culture, that has completely different watching habits. He watches TikTok, I watch YouTube, we watch it in different languages, so you'd have to navigate all that just for what? A bit of boom boom, a bit of companionship. So I could notice straight away that yes, there was a part of me that fantasized over that companionship and boom boom. But actually there's a bigger part of me that's much more realistic about it and realizes that it wouldn't be worth it. Like I know myself and I know my standards and I know how easily I get pissed off with things and I know how fast I get pissed off with things. So I could notice this parts of myself that wanted to lie to myself and say, oh no, this could work, it could be different. And then I could notice a part of myself that was already spotting all the problems. Now, to give you some context about him, he was 21. Now this is, if what he said is to be believed, which out here is a big if. However, he did seem to be very honest. I believe what he said, but I'm also a very naive, gullible fool, so who knows. But I believe he was 21. He was very self-honouring and self-respecting. So he told me he was a virgin. Now, that's a very normal story out here, because obviously they want you to value them and prize them and make them your boyfriend and spend all your money on them. But he seemed really genuine. And what was clear was this guy was not going to put out. This guy, so I think it's true that he was a virgin. And he was telling me about, previous, not boyfriends, but, people he spent time with. And he basically said they all got bored of waiting. And I was kind of telling myself that I would honour him and wait. But I was also noticing the shadow in me that was like, oh, you're a virgin, are you? Okay, that's hot. And anyone that's honest, you'll get people who judge that, but anyone that can self-introspect and is honest with themselves and can notice the different parts. So I'm speaking to you from the part that came through, the part of honour. But there is also a shadow part that of course would love to have sex with as many virgins as possible. A part that I used to act on. And I could notice that part was activated, and that part was telling myself a story of it's okay to use him, it's okay to go on if you go on 2 more dates with him, he'll be in love with you, he'll think you're his boyfriend, you'll get what you want, and then you can bin him off. And that I could notice that story playing, and in the past that story has won. But this time there was just this sense of I can't do that. I can't do that to him, as in I can't allow myself to cause that level of distortion and pain in another, and I also can't do it to myself. I can't keep acting from a place of taking. I can't keep acting from a place of disrespect, of dishonor. I can't live like that, and I haven't lived like that for a long time. This situation hasn't come up for a long time. But yeah, it's not that for a long time I haven't seeked anything like that, but I haven't been challenged with, okay, well, here it is, are you going to be an honourable man now, or are you going to keep being a selfish little boy that uses others, and therefore that is reflected in your whole life and your sense of self-worth, because you know who you are. Even if your ego, your shadow can trick you and tell you that it's all fine and la da la da, you know. So that part one. And we were texting for about another 4 days. This is a part I'm not proud of, actually. So far, I think, you know, it's a more mature, better version of Tom that's operating here. A Tom that values respecting others more than sticking his dick in a tight hole, and that's all good. But I'm not particularly proud of how that ended it in the end. But basically, this is what happened. So we were texting, and we were arranging a second date. We were going to go and watch the sunset. And the first day he was ill. The second day my cat got killed, so it got cancelled twice. And then we texted a bit more, and I basically had this realization. I think it was the day that Beans got done. I think I had a big reevaluation of life and really looking at responsibility, or lack of responsibility in that case, and just assessing, just really seeing the effect of lack of responsibility, and being ready to cut that out in any aspect in my life. And I think it was that reflection that led to me completely seeing this part of me that was convincing myself it was okay to date him and sexify him, knowing that long term I wasn't really in it. Because that's what I mean by knowing my patterns and knowing my ways. You know, I get bored so fast. Like, there's been guys in the past that I've been infatuated with that have like treated them like a god and just idolized them and thought they were perfect, and I still get bored of them after 6 weeks. Well, this guy, I could already find things that completely repulsed me. Like, he was really feminine, and it really repulsed me. I liked him, but there's no way, like, on the first day, I liked him enough to be able to see past the fact that he was effectively wearing women's clothes. But there's just no way that in 2 weeks, once the shine had worn off, that I would be able to see past that. Like, I find that repulsive. I find extreme campness repulsive, and he was beyond camp. He was basically feminine, which has an allure to it. Has an allure. Now that is an English word, isn't it? It's also a Cambodian word. Allure. Anyway, like it's unique and it's different, and it's, the shadow finds it tantalizing. But once the shadow had its fill, there wouldn't be that pull anymore. Like, the aligned parts of me is not attracted to, you know, these gender bender things. He wasn't like that. He wasn't like, he very much owned it. He very much was like, yeah, I'm really feminine, but this is who I am, and not in a trans way. I mean, obviously there were elements of that, and of course there's shadow playing out and trauma playing out, I'm sure. But he wasn't claiming to be anything that he isn't. He was very much, I'm a man, I'm just very feminine, you know. But yeah, I would have found that repulsive. And then like within days probably. And then on top of that, you've got the fact, I mean, 21, I mean, can a 41-year-old date a 21-year-old? I don't think so. Can you date across cultures and 20 years difference? I don't think so. The truth is, I'm not really mature enough yet to date anyone my own age. Like, it comes up as I'm shallow and I like good-looking people. But I think the truth is that I can't relate to 40-year-olds. I can, like, in a shadow work sense, or a therapy or psychology sense. But yeah, I'm still very immature. You know, I'm still very young. Young at heart and young of mind. So I couldn't really date anyone my own age, and I think realistically, you know, if you're dating so much younger, I think you're better off just staying single, basically. That was the conclusion I came to. Knowing that that was inevitable, knowing that there was no decision to make, knowing that that was always going to be the way. Of course I was always going to end up single. Of course this person isn't going to be a long-term partner. So therefore, am I just going to be honest with them and tell them that, oh yeah, this is a bit I'm not happy with? So am I just going to be honest with them and tell them that, or am I going to be deceitful, use them, and then create bad juju, bad energy? Some might call it karma. So what did I do? I just ignored him. I just ghosted him, which I'm not happy with. But the beans had just died. And for 3 days, I was kind of telling myself I was going to text him. And then all this completely unraveled over 3 days. It had got to 3 days. We'd not communicated for 3 days. I was in the void. And it felt like the only way I could deal with it was by basically not dealing with it, which does deal with it. It's just not the perfect, honourable, stoic way I would have liked to have dealt with it. But I'm not honourable or stoic. I'm a childish little boy that is learning to respect people somewhat, let's say. So that's why there is no second part, no second date, no second part, no Cambodian boyfriend. That's where we're at with it. To be honest, I did go on Grindr yesterday. I had 2 wanks yesterday. But before that, I hadn't been on Grindr for 4 days, and I basically got to a point where, oh yeah, I had a bad day yesterday. I basically got to a point where I feel like I'm in enough contentment and peace that even the fantasy, the story of shagging, and then even beyond that, dating, which is a further fantasy, which I don't fall into much at all, but the shagging one I do, that has really worn off. Like for 4 days, I didn't even go on Grindr. I'm just content. Like I don't need to escape myself that strongly. Oh good, another one. Oh no, that's not this video. At the end of this video, I'll put a few clips of why I've just filmed there and I couldn't film in the garden this morning. And then yesterday I had a really bad day. I didn't film. A couple of really bad things happened online in stuff that doesn't need to be mentioned on here. And I let down. I had a meeting planned with somebody and I let them down for a second time, so I just felt shit. And then I went on Grindr and had 2 wanks, so I needed to escape myself. But in general, if I'm not having a bad day, I don't even need to do that anymore. So this fantasy of wanting another, of I'm lonely, therefore I would sacrifice my peace and my boundaries and my personal space and allow another into that just to satisfy some lonely story, like that's miles away now. That's miles away. So that's where we're at. So I'm open, but I'm not seeking, and I'm very doubtful. To be honest, if I'm ever going to have a partner, I think it's going to come through my YouTube. And I'm not saying I think this will happen, but I think that's how it would happen, because it's going to have to be a very special being. They're going to have to be young and sexy. So, you know, they can't be of a different culture. They could be Polish. I'd like that a lot. They'd have to be European, basically, or American. They'd have to be white, basically, and young and hot. So basically, they would have to have been watching my YouTube and idolise me as some sort of god to put with my tits and my fatness and my oldness and my smelliness and my dirtiness, all the ness. You know, they would have had to have pedestaled me, and I would have to be able to manipulate them as their hero celebrity YouTuber. Here's my 7.5 inches. I'm a YouTuber. Suck it. So obviously I'm kind of jesting, but there would have to be that element. They would have had to have realised. Let's just say realised I'm amazing. You could say idolised or pedestaled, but realised I was amazing and emailed me with a picture of their 6-pack. And got, "I'm for you, baby." Okay, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Now some clips of the very noisy people in the garden and why I couldn't film there, and I'm annoyed about it. I'm barefoot, and I'm like, do I really want to go out? How much do I want to record this video? I do want to record this video, but it's so shit down here compared to out there, and on my feet as well. So I've come out here to film a video. They even, I think they have bought a drink. So annoying, man. I really wish they wouldn't let members of the public in here, because it's always Cambodian and very noisy. Wow, they're literally making all that noise about bobbing under the water and coming back up. They think it's the most radical, entertaining thing ever. It's about as entertaining as this grumpy bitch. Not entertaining at all. Horrible. It's really pissed me off, man. Really pissed me off. I'm probably just being entitled and being a dickhead. I probably don't have any right to be pissed off about it. But it's so not worth it, is it? It's so not worth it. Like the £3 that they've just brought into this place. I mean, no one ever stays in the hotel, so it doesn't really matter. But all that noise, it's 8 in the morning. If you're staying in the hotel, for the sake of £3, you've got to put up with all that noise. For the sake of a business getting £3. And then for people who live here permanently, I mean, to be fair, we're on the other side of the hotel, but we should be able to use the garden. We should be able to enjoy the garden. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Especially seeing as, like, they're probably the only people that are going to come all day. So, you know, all that staffing, and I appreciate he spent all this money on this amazing space, and of course he wants people to use it. I get it. I'd be the same. But it's not working. It doesn't work. It's failed. And all you get is a few young Cambodians come to take selfies and just ruin it by being really noisy.